Alright, we'll start with the blessing before the reading. If everyone would like to stand up. Bless the Lord, the Blessed One. Blessed is the Lord, the Blessed One, for all eternity. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has selected us from his peoples and given us his Torah. Blessed are you, O Lord, giver of the Torah. Alright, the reading today will be in Deuteronomy chapter 32, if you'd like to turn there. And I'll be starting in verse 44 and reading through verse 47, just a couple of verses here. Deuteronomy chapter 32, starting in verse 44. Moses came with Joshua, son of Nun, and spoke all the words of this song in the hearing of the people. I want to stop there for just a second. This song that he's talking about is this whole chapter of 32. If you didn't read it throughout the week, basically it is a quick summary of the history of Israel. It reminds them of their sin, warns them not to repeat the same sins and mistakes, and also offers hope through trusting in God. Continue in verse 45. When Moses finished reciting all these words to Israel, he said to them, "Take to heart all the words I solemnly declare to you this day, so that you may command your children to obey carefully all the words of this law. They are not just idle words for you. They are your life. By them you will live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess." Then the blessing after the reading. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah through his servant Moses and the realization of grace and truth through his servant Yeshua, our Master and Messiah. Blessed are you, O Lord, giver of the Torah, grace and truth. All right, you may be seated. So just to look at this short section here that I read, notice, at least in my translation, it says, "Take to heart the words that I have solemnly declared to you." So, all this song that Moses has just recited to the whole nation of Israel, it says solemnly declared to you. So, to me that means it's something not to take lightly. Kind of listen up. This is serious stuff here that he's talking about. And also, it makes a note to say, command, so that you may command your children to obey carefully all the words of this law. And it's interesting to me how, multiple times throughout the Bible it says, teach your children this, and how important that is, that the next generation coming up knows this stuff that we're still learning about also. But anyways, moving on here. I also thought it was interesting. It says, "They are not just idle words for you, they are your life." I was kind of thinking about that. They are your life. And what does that mean? I want to jump back to Deuteronomy chapter 30, if you want to turn there. It's just a couple chapters back. Deuteronomy 30, verse 19 and 20. "This day I call heaven and earth as witness against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live, and that you may love the Lord your God. Listen to his voice and hold fast to him, for the Lord is your life, and he will give you many years in the land he swore to give to your fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." It speaks here of, a few chapters back, it was that whole blessings and curses stuff. And, it speaks of obeying God's law as your life. Another way, this is a pretty well-known passage, but it could also say, for the wages of disobeying God's law is death. We know that is the wages of sin is death. It's the same thing. And we can see that literally here fulfilled in Moses' life. He sinned in the whole presence of Israel before God, and his brother was killed for it, and Moses died before, his goal was fulfilled, seeing the promised land. He's seen it, but God didn't let him go in. He cut him short before he was able to go in. So we can see that physically. The law is life or death, blessings and curses. But for us, something that we can probably relate to a little bit more is, the word life here, it is your life. I also kind of see it as, it's what makes your life rich, I guess. What fulfills your life, I guess, so to speak. What's your joy? The Psalm, read through the Psalms, it's always talking about God's law is our delight. We delight in His law, all this stuff. That talks about it being a joy to us. It goes beyond joy that we usually think of. For us, we think of joy, we think of fun. Me and Kelly last weekend went tubing. That is fun, but it's not fulfilling. There's a major difference. Hobbies that we have, they are fun to us. That's why we do them. And they might seem like they fulfill you. Whenever you're done with a project or whatever that you're working on, you might feel fulfilled, but, come next week or whatever, you're going to need another project because it didn't fulfill you fully. And those can be distractions to us if we're not careful. But it's your life in the sense that it makes you feel fulfilled when the day is over. Every day that we live, we should think, was this day fulfilled? Meaning, did I follow God the best that I could? We all make mistakes. That happens. But did we serve God the best that we could? If we think that we're not being distracted by the world, if we can go out into the world every day and think, I'm to the point where I don't get distracted by all the ungodliness in the world. And that doesn't mean every person in the world. That just means in a whole, worldly ways or whatever. I think we've fallen to a point where you don't know what it means to really be fulfilled. Because you are distracted every day. If you live in the world, not so much maybe if you work in a Christian environment. I definitely do not. And so every day, there's definitely distractions that I see. And so it's important that we make sure every day we look back and, really kind of go over things and say, hey, did I compromise today? Did I fall short in an area? And if you did, just ask forgiveness and step it up for the next day. So anyhow, that's basically what I had to share. Hope it was encouraging to you. Thank you.